Now tell me why I call myself setting up the microphone to do my little video and the crap didn't even work. I said, now this is ghetto because I just knew I was advancing, but that's okay. I did lunges, I did squats using the bench, and then I did Bulgarian split squats. But look, I was telling y'all about something. Let me just get right into that. So the other day, my little guy came into the kitchen, right? And while I was in the kitchen, I'm washing dishes and I'm like, it's about that time. I need to be getting ready for lunch. So I'm planning everything out. I cooked the food. I'm washing the dishes. I'm going to put the food in the bowl. We're going to heat it up and we're going to sit down and eat, right? So he comes into the kitchen and he starts crying. And I'm like, oh, yeah, see, I done planned it out. I'm right on time. I'm ahead of time. Okay? I'm advanced. So he's crying. He doesn't know that I have already thought the process out. He doesn't know that I already know that he was about to get hungry. He doesn't know that I already cooked the food. He doesn't know that I'm washing dishes and am already preparing to put the food in the bowl to feed him. He doesn't know any of that. All he knows is I'm going to mommy because I'm hungry. And I know that if I go to her, she's going to understand that I'm hungry and she's going to feed me. That's all he knows. So I'm like, when he comes in there, I'm like, okay, yeah, I know, buddy. I know because I knew exactly what the problem was. I'm finishing up the preparation and he grabs onto my leg and he starts to do a little more intense cry. And I just couldn't take it. I was like, oh, my baby. But at the same time, I was like, okay, he's getting a little extra. Doesn't he know that I always feed him? Doesn't he know that I always look out? Doesn't he know that I always get him right? And then in that same moment, I had another thought. And it was like, oh, well, he is just a baby. So babies express themselves however they know how. This is his form of communication. And until he effectively learns how to communicate through words like we do, this is just what it is. So it's okay. And then I thought to myself, I was like, oh my gosh, how beautiful is it to be in this position with this scenario? How beautiful is it to be, and I'm not calling myself God. Let me just make that clear. But how beautiful is it to be in the position of God for us, but to him, to the baby? Please don't think I'm calling myself God. I really want to make that clear. I am not trying to say that I'm God. But anyway, so the baby had no idea that before he came in there, I already had things going. He just recognized his need and he knew if I cry to mommy, if I cry out to mommy, she's going to understand and fulfill my needs. Just like the baby, when we need something, we go to God and we ask God to fulfill our needs, whatever it is. And in those moments, we're expressing that childlike faith because let's be real. If you could do something yourself, you wouldn't have been taking it to the Lord, right? And you wouldn't go to the Lord if you didn't have the faith or didn't think for just an inkling. If you didn't think for just like a grain of salt worth that the Lord wouldn't be able to fulfill your needs, you wouldn't go to him. But we be having that childlike faith and we take our wants and our needs to the Lord because we believe, somewhere in us, we believe that he'll be able to fulfill our needs, right? So just like the baby, we go to God. And just like me in this scenario, so remember how I said that I was already in the kitchen washing dishes and stuff, and I had already thought to myself, like, it's getting about that time, and I already cooked the food. I was already ready to put the food in the bowl and prepare it. So just like me in that scenario, God already knows what we're going to come to him about. He already knows what we need. He already knows what we want, and he knows when we're going to come to him. He knows the time. He knows everything. I I was just looking at the scenario, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. But just like the baby, sometimes we don't see, or when we don't see or recognize that the Lord is working on our behalf, sometimes we get frustrated. And this is where you see people starting to get anxious and worry. And some people get depressed. Some people are just sad. Some people get angry. This is where we start to see those little sinful emotions, I guess. I don't know. But we start to see the impatience and the things that come from being impatient, the things that come from being ignorant to God's faithfulness. That's when that starts coming into play. And we say we know God, but we don't realize, like, oh yeah, he's already working it out. He already has this lined up. This is on the way. We don't think about the fact that he already has a plan. We don't think about the fact that there are things that have to take place before he could serve us up that plate. There are things that have to get done before the food can go into our bellies, in a sense. Like, and the reason I'm using that example is because obviously I was preparing lunch for the baby, but we don't be realizing that. And so we get all worked up, but the Lord has already worked it out. But I guess I just wanted to share that experience with you guys and to just remind you, just like me in this example, the Lord has already thought about everything that you will have want or need for in this lifetime. He knows what you have need of, and he has already, is currently and has already actively prepared a way to fulfill your heart's desires, your needs, your wants. He's already actively worked on or working on that before you even reach the point to where you recognize your want or need for it. Remember how I said babies, until they learn how to effectively communicate, sometimes we don't know how to say what it is that we need, what it is that we feel like we want, what it is that we feel like we're lacking. Sometimes we don't have the words to express that. But you know, God is so good that he can read your heart. He understands your heart. And even with you not being able to express it in words, I want you to know. He sees and he knows all, and the job is getting done. He is actively preparing a way. He has actively put things in position. Even when you step out of position, he has already taken in account whatever it is you're going to do. He has actively prepared a way to fulfill your wants and needs. And I'm like, man, doesn't the baby know? Yeah, the baby knows that mommy feeds him. Why do you think he came to me? Why do you think he came to you, girl? Why do you think he came to you? Because he knows. But you know what? Let me just say this, and because I thought about this. The baby has an excuse. One day, we have to come to the point where we're no longer acting as babes in Christ. Because one day, this baby is going to grow up and he's going to know, like, oh yeah, I'm just going to tell my mom I'm hungry and she's going to go get the food. And he's going to be able to sit patiently and wait on me to bring his food to him or call him in to come and get his plate. We need to get to the point where we are willing to grow up as well. We need to get to the point where we're our faith is immovable, unshakable. Oh, I went to God about this. This looks the way it looks, but I know that the Lord is working something up. He is fixing my plate. And when the time is right, in due time, he is going to give me what it is that I ask for, or what it is that I need, or what it is that my heart desires, if it is good for me. And I could say even that, because if a kid wakes up 5 o'clock in the morning, chilling and all that stuff, and he asks you for ice cream, are you going to give him ice cream? Absolutely not. Sometimes we ask God for things and he withholds it because it's not good for us, or he holds on to it until the proper time. You can't have that ice cream at 5 o'clock in the morning, but if you ask me again at 12 in the afternoon or at 5 at night, I'll say yes, and I'll give it to you. But yeah, that's what I was trying to tell y'all on this recording. That's what I want to share while I was using this beat up mic. But yeah, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope that you understood what I was saying and that maybe you got something out of it. And I'll see you next video.